Right. So today I'm going to discuss a lesson from grade 6 targeting the grade 6 English medium students. So I will conduct the lesson in English. So let's move to the lesson. I'm going to discuss the 7th lesson with you all. The lesson angles. So let's start the lesson. Write down the topic angles. Right. First of all, before we move on to angles, let's discuss how we can create an angle. That means how to construct an angle. Right? So first of all, the first thing is, in day-to-day life, you have seen many angles, right? With objects. If you take this whiteboard, right? In these corners, we can see angles. Here, right? Here you can see angles. So these things are known as angles. So the first thing, how we can create an angle, right? I take an example like this. If this is an angle, this is created on this point and using these two sides. Using these two sides on this point, in between these two sides, we can see this angle. So, the first thing is, we can construct an angle by using two line segments. If we use two straight lines like this, if I'm going to use a straight line like this and another straight line like this, and if these two straight line segments will come and meet at a point like this, right, we can see an angle in between these two lines. So these types of things we call an angle. Got it? This will be an angle. It was in between these two straight line segments on this point. So there are some important points when we construct angles. So this point is known as the vertex point. So this point we call this the vertex. And these two straight lines, we call these the arms of this angle. This angle is created with these two straight lines, but we are not going to call it a straight line. We call it an arm. So this will be an arm and the next arm will be this one. So two arms together, when these two arms will come and meet at a point like this point we call the vertex point. So from this vertex point, on this vertex point, the angle which created between these two straight lines, we call it an angle. Got it? This is the basic thing of angle. So we can construct an angle like this. So first of all, take this down. Right, okay? Right. The important thing to show the angle, that means to show this angle, the thing you should do is, you should use a curved line segment like this to show that it is an angle, right? In between these two lines, on this vertex point, right, from a place like this, you can use a curved line segment to show the angle, right? That's all. That will be the basic steps. So let's move to the next part. Write down the topic, types of angles. Let's move to the types of angles. So write down the topic, types of angles. Right. So there are 5 types of angles. There are 5 types of angles. As the first one, as the first step, let's take the right angle. So write down, put number 1 and write down right angle. Right angle. Right. What is a right angle? Right angle means if two straight lines will come and meet like this, one will stay as a horizontal line and the other one will stay as a vertical line, right? If you can see an angle in between these two lines, that means the horizontal line and the vertical line, this angle, the angle which is in between this, we call this a right angle, right? Let's clarify it like this. I'll take an example like this. I'll take an example like this. So if I take a circle, right, and if I fold this into two parts, two equal parts symmetrically, if I fold this, right, I can fold it like this. This side will come and stay like this, so that I can take a figure like this. Right, that means a half circle. I can see after folding this, I can see a half circle like this. Right, so this one I'm going to fold it again into two equal parts. So if I fold it from here, right, so you can see a figure like this, right? We got a figure like this. That means we folded this into two equal parts first, and then this half circle I folded it again into two equal parts. So finally I got a figure like this, right? So in this circle, this will be a curved line, okay? And when I was folding this, these were straight lines. So these two lines will be straight lines. So that means these two lines will be straight lines, right? And they will meet up here. So this will be the vertex, right? We can take this as the vertex. So these two straight lines, we can take them as arms. So in between these two arms, on this vertex point, the angle which created here, this will be a right angle. Got it? Right? This will be a right angle. So the same thing, we can take it like this. So a horizontal line and vertical line together, we can take the right angle. But the most important thing of this is to indicate a right angle. We are not going to use a curved line like this. We are not going to use a curved line segment like this. For right angles, only for right angles, right? Only for right angles, we are using a symbol like this to indicate it is a right angle. Got it? So, whenever you see a right angle, to indicate it, you are not going to use a curved line segment. You should use this symbol like this. Got it? So this will be a right angle. That's all. Right. Take this down first. Right. So let's move to the second type of angle. So write down the topic, acute angles. Topic number 2, acute angles. What are acute angles? What are acute angles? Right. Now we are taking this right angle, right? I told you when we take the right angle, it was created by using a horizontal line and a vertical line, right? So this is an extra thing. The magnitude of this right angle will be 90 degrees, right? The magnitude of this right angle will be 90 degrees. So acute angles means the magnitude of this angle should be less than the magnitude of the right angle. Got it? That means if it is an acute angle, it should be less than this right angle. That means the angle should come like this, right? If I take an angle like this, so this will be the angle. It is less than, that means it is smaller than the right angle. If I take a right angle, it will be like this. But now, if it is an acute angle, it should be less than, this arm should come to this way. That means it should be less than, the magnitude should be less than the right angle, right? That means the angles with a magnitude less than 90 degrees. If it is 60, if it is 70, if it is 89, if it is 20. Likewise, these angles we call them acute angles. Got it? The only thing is this should be less than 90 degrees. So put number 2 and write the topic acute angles. Right. Under the topic acute angles, draw this diagram first. Right. Under the diagram right now, the angles which are smaller than a right angle, the angles which are smaller than a right angle are known as acute angles, right? So that's all. Acute angles means it should be less than, it should be smaller than this right angle. Got it? So let's move to the third type of angle, right? The third one, obtuse angle. Write down the topic number 3, obtuse angles. So now when we take angles, we got a right angle first, right? We got a right angle first, and we got an angle which is less, that means smaller than this right angle, right? Those were known as acute angles. Now we are going to move more than the right angle. That means we are exceeding the limit 90. Got it? If the magnitude will exceed the amount 90, that means more than 90. 91, 92, 100, 120. Likewise, if we are going to increase than this 90, that means more than 90. Right? If I take an angle like this, right? If I am marking the right angle will only come up to here. The next arm should come up to here, so it will be a right angle. So if the arm will move towards this way, that means now here it was 90, now it is coming more than 90, 91, 92. Likewise, it is getting bigger. That means this will be larger than the right angle, right? So these types of angles, we call them obtuse angles, right? Right. So there is another condition. We can't go further like this, right? There is a limit. That means this obtuse angle should not exceed the limit of 2 right angles. Now see, if I take 2 right angles, this will be 1 right angle, this will be 1 right angle, and if I take another right angle like this, right? So here it will be 90 and here it will be 90. So this angle will be, the whole angle will be 180. In obtuse angles, we can't go more than 180. You can't exceed the limit of this. Got it? That means obtuse angle should be more than one right angle. The magnitude of this obtuse angle should be more than one right angle and it should be less than two right angles. Got it? That means it should be in between. It should be between 90 and 180. It should exceed the limit 90, but it should be less than 180. So these types of things we call them obtuse angles. So write down the topic as number 3 and draw the diagram. No need to draw this one now, please. Right. After drawing this, don't write a definition for this. We wrote a definition for this, but don't write the definition of this. Please leave some space. 2-3 lines, just 2 lines will be enough. 2-3 lines, leave 2-3 lines, and let's move to the fourth one. Right? After discussing the fourth type, I'll give you the definition. Right? So the fourth type will be, write down the topic, put number 4 and write down the topic, straight angles. Right. What are straight angles? Now, here I told you the limit should not exceed 2 right angles. If it come to 2 right angles like this, that means, right, this will be one right angle. Here you can see a right angle and here you can see a right angle. So 90 and 90 together, when you take those two arms will stay on a straight line. So you can see a straight line here. On this point, the angle will be created. So on this straight line, on a point of the straight line, the angle which will be created is known as a straight angle. So the magnitude of this angle will be 90 and 90, that means 180 degrees. Got it? So these types of angles, we call them straight angles. Right? The only thing is, the magnitude should be 2 right angles, the addition of 2 right angles, 90 and 90 together. Put number 4. Take the topic straight angles and draw the diagram. Right. So after that, after drawing this diagram, under this, let's write the definition for straight angles. Write down the definition. The angles which are equal, the angles which are equal to 2 right angles, are known as are known as straight angles. Straight angles. Straight angles. Right, okay. Right. After that, we didn't wrote the definition of this obtuse angle. So let's write the definition of this now. Right? Let's make the definition first. Now you can easily say, right? Obtuse angle means it should be larger than a right angle and it should be less than a straight angle. Got it? That means it should be between a right angle and a straight angle. Got it? Right. So for the third one, let's write the definition of the third one. Write down under the third one. Angles which are larger than a right angle, angles which are larger than a right angle and less than a straight angle, are known as obtuse angles. Right. So that's all. That will be the definition for the third one. And let's move to the final one. Final type. Right. So the fifth one. Let's come to the fifth one. Fifth one will be the reflex angles. Right. So now we were up to this level, right? So I'll take it like this, right? So when I was starting, the start was the right angle, right? If it is less, right, from here, if it is starting the next arm, if I'm moving like this, so this was the angle which created between this arm and my hand, right? My hand will be the next arm. So the angle between my hand and the arm will be an acute angle. Acute angle, yet an acute angle. And when it come to this level, so the magnitude will be 90. So the angle will be a right angle, right? So when I'm moving like this, the angle between this line and my hand, it will be obtuse angle, right? Yet obtuse angle, and yet it is obtuse angle, and when it comes parallelly to this line, so it will be a straight line. So on this point, the angle which created here will be a straight angle, right? Now I'm going to exceed the level of a straight angle. I'm going like this. So the angle which created like this will known as a reflex angle. So we can take it like this, right? We are exceeding the level of straight line. So the angle will be created like this. Got it? That means this should be larger than a straight angle. Got it? As well, another one we can take it like this also, right? If we take this angle, this one also more than a straight line, but it is a huge angle. This will be a huge angle. So this one also known as a reflex angle. Now the thing is, this should be more than straight angle means two right angles. So reflex angle, it should be more than two right angles, but it should be less than four right angles. It should not come to this level, right? If I come like this and this arm will come and stay on this arm, right? We can just see one line, and if I am coming again, it will be an acute angle again. So it should be more than 2 right angles, and it should be less than 4 right angles. So write down the topic, reflex angles as the 5th one, and take these two, both these diagrams, take these 2 diagrams. Right. Under these 2 diagrams, let's write down the definition of reflex angles. Angles which are larger than a straight angle. Angles which are larger than a straight angle, but less than 4 right angles. But less than 4 right angles, are known as reflex angles. Right. So that's all for today. This will be the video for the whole lesson angles. You all should do the 3 exercises in the textbook, that means 7.1, 7.2 and 7.3 for work, right? So I'll give you a summary again, right? Take it like this. The summary of the lesson: if I take a single arm like this, right, this will be an arm, right? I'll take this pen as the second arm, right? So I'm moving like this on this vertex point, right? Now this will be an acute angle, yet acute angle, and when it comes like this, it will be a right angle, right? Now it is going more than a right angle, that means an obtuse angle, right? Obtuse angle. So it will come like this, yet it is an obtuse angle, and when it comes parallelly to this line, so this will known as a straight line. So it will be a straight angle, right? More than the straight angle, this angle will be what? More than a straight angle, final one, that means the reflex angle. Yet it is a reflex, yet reflex, still it is reflex, and when it come like this, it will get finished. Got it? So keep these things in your mind, right? And do the exercises from the lesson number 7. So then that's all for today. Stay safe, and see you all with the next video for the lesson number 8, that means from directions.